Today is day 208 of the podcast, and I want to begin by reading from 2 Peter 1, verses 12 and 13. Therefore, I shall always be ready to remind you of these things, even though you already know them, and have been established in the truth which is present with you. And I consider it right, as long as I am in this earthly dwelling, to stir you up by way of reminder. Today we're going to be looking at one of the roles of the Holy Spirit is to remind us, to bring to remembrance. I had a godson who, when he was 4 years old, came up and asked me, Grandma Jody, what's it like to hear the voice of the Lord? And the very first response that came out of my mouth was something that I've used with adults ever since. And it's what I shared with him was, it's like remembering something that you didn't know before. That's what it feels like when you begin to hear his voice. It's just like how memories come into our mind. Thoughts from the Spirit of God arise from our heart, from our spirit, arise within us in that way into our conscious thought. Something that we weren't aware of and did not know about, he begins to give us, but it surfaces and feels like what happens when we remember something. It gives us an inner sense of what the Lord is saying. John 14:26 says, "But the Helper, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he will teach you all things and bring to your remembrance all that I said to you." He will cause it to arise up at the appropriate time and when we need to know it. The Spirit is able to take seed that's been sown in one situation and then extract truth and bring that up in another situation. He's able to bring back a thought that was given at one time before we knew the reason for it and bring it up again at the time that we need to have it. He's able to combine lessons from a former trial and bring application in a current one. He is able to put the pieces together that we aren't able to put together in our current situation. And unlike an earthly parent whose reminders are really a veiled means of nagging us, what the Holy Spirit knows is that apart from him, we can do nothing. And so he brings the will of the Father to mind at the moment and at the point in time that we need it. So here's today's question. Does God promise to remember anything? And does he promise to forget anything?